So let me get this straight. And I see some of my friends from old. Hugh Robb, I see you in there. Brian Ball, I see you in there too. Good to see you guys. We need to break bread here in the ATL soon as people start pouring in. You guys must be a big deal because no one wants to hear from me, but they definitely want to hear from you guys. But just to get that straight, Ali, now again, has a team of a couple people, but just phenomenal. And where Damien comes in, and I just want to shut up and let them tell the story of, Ali, you were 30 cars a month, month in, month out, and then kind of tell me about the transformation. And then we're going to talk about the great thing is, ladies and gentlemen, you can get, these guys have co-authored a book. They're working on another one. If you want to get a copy of how to sell 100 cars, we're going to share that with you before the podcast is over. And these two amazing gentlemen will share that. So Ali, can you guys just tell your and Damien's story here so people kind of get an understanding of your relationship?
Yeah, Tim, it's funny because, I've always been looking for a coach and a trainer and a teacher. And I knew that I needed that. I knew that I needed that to get to the next step. Right, Damien? No.
Our visions of how we met are very different.
Very different. I forget a lot of things. I don't even know my numbers half the time. I got to call Damien and say, hey, David, where were my numbers at this month? Because I have no idea. Somebody's asking. But, Tim, it's funny because I was forced to see Damien Boudreaux when he came in to do a seminar, by my manager, Scott Montgomery at the time, was a wonderful person. And he said, hey, Ali, I signed you up for this seminar. You got to go to it today. And I'm like, no, boss, I'm busy. I can't go to the seminar. I got deals going on. I don't have time for that. And mind you, it was in the dealership. So it was in-house. It was not like I was going anywhere, right? And I'm like, no, I'm busy. He's like, no, you're going. And I'm like, no. I got 3-4 deals. I'm working. I'm busy. I don't need to go talk to a trainer. I'm good. I'll read up on it later. And forcefully, he's like, no, you're going. I signed you up. You're going. Give me those deals. You're not selling another car today. And, thankfully he did that because, I walk into the seminar and I'm like, all right, let me just go sit here for a couple hours and see what's going on. And, I sit there and of course I'm going all in. I'm going there anyway. So I'm going to pay attention. Right. And the first, maybe 5 or 7 minutes, Damien starts talking and man, he's talking to me. I mean, he just started speaking to me right to the heart. And I was just kind of blown away. And I was like, everything he was talking about, Tim, I was already doing, but I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know that, relationship selling was an actual thing that you can enhance and work on. And, I sat there the whole time and Damien will tell you, and I sat there and I was engaged throughout that whole seminar. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing because he was talking to me, everything I was doing, everything I wanted. He started talking about guys doing 60 cars a month and I'm doing 30. And I thought I was doing well. And he starts saying 60. And I'm like looking around, slouching in my chair. I'm like, man, what's going on here, right? If somebody's doing 60, I got to be able to get to that number. And, that was, the beginning of it. And after the seminar, I grabbed Damien and I'm like, hey, all that stuff you're talking about, was that true? I said, that guy, Cole, is he doing 60? And is all this stuff really going on? And I'm like, and then we started talking and, we built our relationship from there. But that was when I met him. And I was forced to go to this meeting, but, I knew that there was something behind it. So I went, but yeah, I was forced.
And I want to hear Damien's side of the story. As we know, it could differ, but I want to hear the truth is always somewhere in the middle on how it is. But the one thing that I want to unpack from that is what I want people now. The car business, I've got friends pouring in here that I see their names piling up, and business. Just so you know, everybody's walking around with an S on their chest right now because maybe we don't have an inventory, but we used to average $2,000 a copy. Now we're at $5,000 or $6,000 a copy or whatever it is. I heard somebody say one time, the time to fix the roof is when the sun's out. I think I heard Brian Binstock in Clubhouse say that one time. The time to fix the roof is when the sun's out, not when it's raining. The one thing that I want to get, no matter how good we think we are, we need a coach. Everybody needs a coach. Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs to look to someone to always get better. So that's the one thing that I just took. Well, several things, but the one thing that stood out with Ali, because on all rights, you're doing 30 cars a month. You go into any dealership in the country and say, hey, I average 30 cars a month. They're giving you a demo, even if they don't give demos, and they're giving you a parking spot. So Damien, what's the true story?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And I want to touch on that, Tim,
Okay,
right after Damien talks. I want to touch on that because that's a really good point you bring up.
Yeah.
Sure.
So before I could coach him, I had to teach him, right?
Right.
So there's a framework. There's a style to the teaching, right? I don't talk car business. It's a different style. It's a different way of thinking. And so first thing you have to do is you have to learn how the thinking works and make sure it aligns with you and that it fits for you, right? And then the coaching happens where you can help people evolve. But my vision of when we met, and I remember when I felt his energy, right? And as far as I'm concerned, everybody who comes to my seminar is so excited to be there and they volunteered for it. So I didn't know he was made to go there. So whether he was or he wasn't, I'm not so sure. But I will tell you, about 15 minutes in, I noticed this energy coming from the right side of the room and about 3 rows back. And there is this kid who has got his pen on his paper and he is writing everything I'm saying. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, you're doing good today, Boudreaux. This guy loves your stuff.
I love when that Cajun comes out. You're doing good, Boudreaux. I feel like I'm on the set of Waterboy.
And look, really, people don't approach me afterwards. My stuff is really simple. I'll tell you, a second grader could do my stuff, right? The way I teach. But he came up to me and we started talking. And that's really when I got it, right? I didn't know who he was. I wasn't pre-framed on him, but we just started talking about his business and his community, and he loves people, man. I'm telling you that.
I know that personally. I've seen it.
Yeah, he stops time for people. And so that was the beginning. And he just embraced the teaching. He embraced 3-step selling, which regardless of whether you're selling 3 cars a month or 120 cars a month, it's the same 3 steps when you go on a date, when you go to so everything I was teaching is based on natural behavior. So it was like, this is so simple. Everybody should do this, right? And that was how we got to know each other. And then the coaching came. My coaching is really best after you've had something really, really good happen to you. People think coaching happens because something really bad happened to you. And yeah, that's when you need a coach. But the magic phone calls are what made Ali great. And the magic phone calls are, well, go ahead and tell them what the magic phone calls are, Ali.
Yeah. So, I'm going to talk about that, but Tim, how important was it, what you were saying, how important was it that my manager at the time, who was managing and loving and caring for me, said, no, you have to go, because not for his best interest, but he knew that would be in my best interest and ultimately the best interest of everybody around us, right? The store managers, the dealership, everybody. So, having that leadership role, having that person that cares and loves enough to say to me that, no, you're going no matter what you think is good for you or not good for you. That's a role model. That's a coach in a form as well as the manager played there. But
Scott Montgomery.
Scott Montgomery. I mean, he doesn't do that. I probably don't meet Damien at any point. Who knows? Had I met him, not met him, who knows? But the magic phone calls Damien's talking about is every time I'd hit a new level, right? So Damien at the time in the first seminar said, what's your goal? I'm like, well, if somebody's doing 60, my goal is 60. Because I know that somebody did it, I can hit 60. And he's like, all right, well, we could get you to 60. So every time I'd hit a new level, I would call Damien and we labeled them the magic phone calls, because I called Damien, you're not going to believe this, man. You're not going to believe it. I hit it. I did it. I did 63. And he's like, all right, great. He goes, so what's your new number? And I'm like, no, you didn't hear me right. I did 63. I did it. I already got it. I'm there. He's like, well, what's your next number? He goes, I know that wasn't the right number in your heart. He goes, what do you think you're going to do next? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call you. I'm going to call my mom. I think she'll be like, yeah. I'm not going to call you anymore. I'm going to call
Give me some love. Give me some love.
I wanted something, right?
Be impressed with me. Be impressed with me.
This is so true, right? So then I'm like, man, this guy, like, I just want him to say, great job, man. I can't believe you did it. Wow, what an amazing job. No, he went right to the coaching, right to the teaching, right to the next thing. I did call my mom after that, though. She was proud of me.
Yeah. So, somebody gave you a virtual hug. That's good.
Yeah, but those were the magic phone calls when I call him and something good happened. I'd be like, and he'd slow time down and replay everything. So what you were talking about earlier, Tim, is having a coach, having a mentor, having a teacher. So the greatest athletes in the world, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, they have coaches. Yeah. And you know what's amazing is their coaches have coaches. So why do we feel that we're so good that we don't need a coach or a mentor? It doesn't even have to be a personal trainer. It could be a parent, a friend, a manager, somebody that's able to see something and dissect it where we can't as players. So I'm a player on the field, and I'm not aware of what's happening. All I'm doing is I'm shooting the free throw, but I know how to shoot a free throw, but I don't know my emotions. I don't know like what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. So Damien, he didn't change me as a person. He didn't change my vocabulary. He didn't change the way I did things or said things. All he did is made me aware of what I was doing. And he was so good at that. And I call him and I say, I did 63. Well, how did you feel? You know, he says, what did you feel was right? What did you feel was wrong? He says, what type of energy were you feeling? Did you change anything in your daily habits? Well, let's replay everything. And I'd replay the whole month, and then he'd dissect it and then give it back to me in a better form. So then when something else happened, I can go back and say, wow, this is what Damien was talking about. I feel really good doing things this way. So now I'm just going to start doing things this way. And I got better and faster and more efficient. And, you know, it was okay to love people. It was okay to do the things I was doing. He just made me more aware of everything around me. And by default, he made me a better person, not a better salesperson. The sales comes later. So he just made me a better person in general. And then that's when everything started shining a little bit faster.
You know, I want to unpack that, and I want to just set the table. And you talked about Damien Boudreaux said something that I want to unpack a little bit, because I love on Tim Talks. This isn't any. We don't sell anything other than making you better. And Tim Talks needs to be the grocery store. And we need to go into the grocery store, put something in a cart, and go home and cook the dinner now. It's not going to cost you a dime. What we're selling right now is not going to cost you a dime. Put it in the cart. You can go home right now and cook the dinner at your dealership. So listen to me, everybody listening, this is huge right now. Because there's a lot of people walking around with puffed up chests. There's not, because of the business and the gross we're making right now, and complacency is a killer. Pride is a killer. You know, you were at 30 cars a month, but yet you sought help. You know, there's nothing wrong with enjoying where you're at now and enjoying the journey, but you're dead if we're all not trying to get better, right? So there's something that I want to unpack. You know, Damien said it, and just so you know, I've heard people, I've talked about Ali and I've talked about Frank, and they say, well, he runs a team. Maybe he's a sales manager. You know, you got to over 100 cars a month or 100 and whatever before you even hired somebody. So maybe we have time for that, because I want to unpack that. But I think the most important thing that I really want out of our time together is, can you two, which I believe are the best in the business, our friend Jonathan Dawson, Pinnacle Society, he talks about it as well, relationship selling. Can you, and by the way, this is, listen, remember the YouTube video? Linda, listen, Linda. This is a listen, Linda. So everybody come in close. Everybody come in close. This is the code. This is where it's going to come. We're fired up today. I'm in Red Bull and water, so we're good. But listen, this is the listen, Linda part. Ali does not take a regular up off the floor. Frank does not take a regular up. They're all self-generated by his social, by his relationships. I want you to get that right now. Some of you, Hugh Robb, you listen to me. Brian Bala, you listen to me. I can't move my eyes down and see who else is in here, but listen when I'm talking to you right now. If you would just take this relationship selling, and every single person in your store, embrace it. You're not chasing a number at the end of the month. So would you guys unpack what it means to have, or when you say relationship selling?
Yeah. So first, let me talk about moving from transactional, which is dealer driven, internet leads, phone ups, people who don't know you, like you, or trust you, where you have to build a rapport and do the process and get them to like you, trust you, and believe in you, so that 20%, 35% might buy from you. It is a walking to the edge of the 20-story building and standing on the edge of it. As I'm telling Ali that this is what you should do, you should never wait on another dealer-driven opportunity forever. And the first 2 months of a salesman's career with me, when they get to this level, which is 3.5 to 5 years, this point can happen. is a scary point. So Ali, you want to go to your feelings on that and go to what happened whenever you were doing it and how you wanted to jump off the bridge?
Yeah. I mean, from the beginning of your career, from the day one, when you started a dealership, they tell you go outside and grab a customer. They will answer the phones, get on the phone and go outside and get another one and chase after customers on the parking lot. So our whole career, we're taught to just go get another one, just go get another one, right? So this is the transactional portion of it. So, after a while, you realize that going to get another one could take half a day, 2 days, a week. Those customers are taking a lot more time to service. They're taking a lot more time to finish off and get closed out. And, once you realize how quick and fast and efficient it is to deal with a relationship type consumer, that's family, friends, community, people, it's just, knocks the time down from hours to minutes. So at one point, Damien's like, well, we need to just stop with the transactional. We need to just go completely relationship only. I'm like, well, the dealership wants me to take ups. They know that I have a better closing ratio. I might do better with them. It's like, yeah, but it's costing you deals. It's costing you money. It's costing you time. And then Damien said, we're just got to stop it. And it's scary at the beginning. It's completely scary because it goes against the grain. It goes against everything that we've ever been taught. To say, I'm not going to take another dealer-driven opportunity, I'm just going to go get my own. It's scary at the beginning. And you might see a little decline for a month or two, but then you realize you find business. You make up that business through relationship. You have more time to cater to your customer base. You have more time on your hands to cater to your community. And, closing ratio goes from 20% to 80%. So I could talk to 3 or 4 times as many people and close them all in the same time I spent with one transactional person. So it is scary at the beginning. You're going to get those butterflies in your stomach and you're going to be like, man, I'm just going against everything I've ever been taught. But the end result is what you see here today. I mean, that's the way to go. That's what Frank does. When Frank stopped doing it, Frank Trinity, when he stopped taking ups, his business skyrocketed. He had more time to go on social, more time to cater to his community. And it is scary at the beginning, but the end result is well worth it.
Can you give me an example? I heard the example of the community center or where you just started attending like every month, and then but by a year or whatever, then you were like, they were recognizing you, and now everybody in the community, look, everybody wants a car guy or a car girl, right? They want that go-to. The fear of driving sales says
everybody wants a person.
Nobody, everybody wants a person to go to. So would you just explain? And again, maybe it's been talked about, but you're talking to a guy that sells 200 freaking cars a month. So listen up. So maybe explain just an example of that, and then people are smart enough to get their own ideas.
Tim, amazing question. Let me tell you what happens is the first time I ever attended a function, a charity event in the community, and I go there and there's 2,000 people, and I walk into this place and my mindset is I'm going there. I got to go to this place and figure out how I'm going to sell cars, right? No. And I go there and guess what? I fail. I can't sell a single car. Well, you're going about it all wrong. You can't go there with the mindset of I'm going to go there and sell a car, because nobody's there interested in buying a car. What they're interested in is you care about the function that you're at together. Yep. You care, you're there for a reason. You're there for the right reason. So the reason why salespeople fail, and I'm probably 95%, I would say a high number fail, is because salespeople across the country in any type of sales, not even auto, any type of sales is we want instant gratification. We want it now. We want to show up to an event and say, there's 2,000 people there, I'm getting something out of it. Wrong mindset, wrong attitude. If you go in there with the attitude of, listen, I'm going there to make friends. I'm going in there to do the right thing. I'm going in there for the right cause. My mindset has nothing to do with Ali the salesman, but it has everything to do with Ali the person. And engage in your community. So as I'm there, as I'm attending these functions, the first year I get nothing, the second year, nothing, but I talk to a few more people. The third year I'm helping out, organize a little bit. I'm like, let me get involved a little bit more. So now more people are starting to know who I am. I think by the 5th year, I'm on stage getting an award for something. So but it just took time. Had I gave up the first year, had I looked for that instant gratification and said, this is a waste of time, I'm never coming back here again, then I would have gotten nothing out of it. But because the longevity, because I was able to see 5 years down the road, hey, this can pan out to something. And if it doesn't, I'm here for the right cause anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But it takes time. It takes years of hard work. It takes, there's no substitution for work, right? I mean, you can't just show up there and get nothing. I mean, you can't show up there and think that you're going to get everything out of it. There's no substitution. You got to put in the time. And that's what I did. I stayed with it. And the longer I stayed with it, the more engaged I became, and the more I was invited to other functions, and people wanted me at these functions, and they wanted me to endorse them, and they wanted me to be part of it. And I kept doing it for the right reason, and the business just came. I wasn't looking for it. It actually just,
I think it's funny. We talked about this before we went live. You are physically in Dearborn, Michigan, the birthplace, I believe, of Henry Ford, and you're in Dearborn, Michigan, and the #1 car salesman in the world sells Chevys.
Yeah, it's great.
Sorry for all my Ford dealers. I love Ford too. I just think there's a little irony that he's in the birthplace of. He's in Michigan, right there in Detroit, and the #1 salesperson in the world sells Chevrolets. Hey, Damien, let's go to you for a little bit, brother. You are just and we're going to unpack sales managers, GSMs, GMs. Damien has some life-changing steps. And listen, I know a lot of you are scratching your head because most of you that are even watching this were better car people than I will ever be. But the thing that I am blessed is Car Now success, and now we have thousands and thousands. We're going to hit 5,000 dealerships, I believe, this month. So I'm not saying that to be pious. I say that because I shut up and I listen a lot. And now we have the privilege to bring you, no matter where you are, the best of breed or the best practices. I was thinking when Ali was talking, Tiger Woods was the best of the best. He was a prodigy, but yet after he won his, I can't remember, second or third Masters, he did what? He changed his entire swing. He knew he was going to take a few steps back to catapult himself. And are we ready for that? Do we really want that type of success? Damien, let's talk a little bit. Again, we're going to get into leadership in the dealership, we're probably going to have that next time, and we'll focus that. There's so much good stuff, so many good things to cook from the grocery store today. But I want you to add your take and color on relationship selling and what that means for an individual.
Yeah, so let's look at two things first. Let's look at the transactional relationship, where you start off your career where you're waiting on dealer-driven opportunities, right? And you have to learn the process and master objections and how to do a walk around and go to write up and get all the processes and procedures and make the mistakes and work with the desk, and it's a necessary part of the business, right? But it's 20 to 35% closing ratio, and at least you get, not this time of life with COVID, but then you have to have a battle, and your grosses aren't very high at all in that time frame, right? So you're fighting to get a mini deal because they're shopping, right? And when you move to the relationship side, it's a whole different animal, right? It's a whole different animal. So the transactional busyness isn't productive once you can move to that relationship side of the business. And we try to say that, look, 2 years in the business, we would like to help develop a salesperson that 50% of their business is transactional, and 50% of the business is they're a magnet from their community. People are just showing up and giving them a hug. Not repeats and referrals, because that really doesn't happen 2 years in the business very well, right? But that starts to be happening. 3.5 to 5 years, we want them to be 100% relationship. And in that business model, productivity is about connection. Your time of doing business is less. Your profitability is higher. Your CSI is crazy. Your scalability of the longer you sell, the more you can sell goes up. Your business model is more healthy and sustainable. All of these things happen in this relationship style. You build a relationship with one dealership. You don't go from dealership to dealership to dealership, hoping the grass is greener. Amen. Or they got a shinier object, right? Yep, and so you find a home, and that is your business, right? Now, what we talk about in this business is the transactional model versus the relationship model. But what if you could take a salesman and say, you will never wait on a dealer-driven opportunity. The only people you wait on is the people who already know you, like you, and trust you, part of your tribe, part of your community, right? And so one of the next steps that Ali did was he said, look, what if we just did the relationship model? What if we trained a salesperson who was from the Michigan area, the Detroit area, but he's not Lebanese in Dearborn, he's Hispanic in Dearborn, which there's not a lot of Hispanics in Dearborn. I just give you a little heads up, right? So he's got his own tribe, and Ali hires Carlos about 20 months ago. About right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, had absolutely zero. And I want you to had never been in the car business before. This talks about you watch Marcus Lemonis, The Prophet, people, process, product, right? So I want let's anchor there and then pick up the story on what happened because you needed help. You're selling a lot of cars. You needed help.
Yep.
So let's pick up the story there. You hire Carlos, tell us where you found him, and you dropped him into the auto dealership.
Let me pre-frame this first, Ali.
Yeah.
So the first thing is he didn't hire somebody.
Okay.
He
Sorry.
decided what he was looking for before he ever went out looking for him. Because there was a girl who worked at the mall who was a perfect candidate as well. There was another gentleman, I forgot his thing, but we discussed several candidates over a 6-month period of time. So he was very slow to pull the trigger. And when he pulled the trigger, it was a great conversation, but the guy barely speaks English. Now, here's when Ali steps in and hires him. Let's go ahead and go through the process of the first 30 days, Ali.
Yeah, let me give you a little background too, Tim. So prior to that, I have 2 assistants. I have one administrative assistant that does all the admin paperwork. She's amazing, helped get me to where I'm at today. None of my assistants sell. So I'm selling everybody one-on-one. I'm talking to every single customer. It's all retail deliveries, no fleet or nothing of that. So my number one assistant, she handles everything behind the scenes. And then she got so busy, I had to hire her an assistant that can answer the phones, emails, and do the access stuff. And then I had a young kid that my own porter, basically, that runs the parking lot. So, that's my team as of now. So then I'm like, I could hire a salesperson to do what Damien and I were talking about and get them going from ground zero. But I had to find the right person. Like Damien said, it took me 2 years because this started in my head 2 years prior to that when I mentioned to Damien and my ownership looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, you don't have time now. You're doing a couple hundred cars a month. How are you going to have time to do that? And I says, no, I can do it. Right. So finally, I go through a couple interviews and I find Carlos, and perfect, exactly what I was looking for, and kind of laid down, the blueprint for him and told him, here's what I'm offering. Here's what I know we're going to get to. Here's the potential of where we can be. And, never sold a car before. So we put him out there. In the first 30 days, we didn't have him selling. I says, hey, I just want you to come in here and we're going to pay you a little bit of money just to come in and just to learn dealership lingo, right? I mean, this is foreign, right? He doesn't understand APR. He doesn't understand appraisal. He doesn't know what, finance office is. He doesn't know what to go upstairs to see the girls in the office or don't go see the girls in the office. I mean, there's things that you just don't understand. So to take somebody brand new and throw them in at a desk and say, here you go get another one, is just not giving them the best shot that they possibly could have. So for the first 30 or 60 days, he did not sell. All I did is told him, I just want you to hang out, learn everything, find out where everything is at, understand the lingo, and reach out to your family and friends and tell them, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing now. Here's where I'm at. If you're looking for me, and if somebody asks you about a car, great. If they don't ask you about a car, just give them the information that you're here. And for the first 60 days, that's what we did, Tim. We didn't allow him to sell. He sold a couple cars here and there, just from family and friends that came in. But as he got used to it,
wait. Let's add something.
Yep.
Let's add something. Ali had him go to the restaurants, had him go to the local
community engagement
car shows.
Yeah.
He made him community engage and go connect with people. Oh, by the way, this is what I'm doing, and this is what. And let me highlight your restaurant. And Ali,
Damien, I went with them.
pounds.
I'm like, hey, get in the car. Let's go to a couple of restaurants. Where's your favorite restaurant? I go, let's go to a restaurant. We got in the car and we went to restaurants. We went, I ate at 5 places in one day. I'm like, let's just go there, right? Let's just go talk to people. Let's get to know people. Let's let them know what you're doing. So we literally went in with the shirts on and we said, hey, we're just in there, just having a good time. And I just wanted him to feel comfortable by going in, just talking about, just getting to know people, just putting yourself out there. And we weren't selling anything. We weren't out there selling anything. We weren't pushing anything. We just wanted them to know where he was at. Basically, we were just getting that information out there, and we started engaging, and then he started doing it on his own. So then he started going to all these functions, and then we had Cinco de Mayo one year. So Cinco de Mayo comes in, and he's brand new. He hasn't really sold cars yet. He started in February, and Cinco de Mayo's in May. So there's a parade going on. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sign up for this parade. I got 5 cars in the parade, and I have Carlos leading the parade. Right? He's in the front leading it, and his daughters are wearing dresses, and they're walking in there. He doesn't know what's going on. And there's people all, and there's our banner and Carlos, and his name is out there. And we literally just started putting his name into the community, and people started getting curious. And why am I seeing this guy everywhere? What is going on? And all the events he started going to. And we went to, like Damien talked about earlier, we didn't do the 50% transactional, 50% relationship. We literally went 100% relationship. To this day, Carlos has never taken a dealer-driven phone up, internet lead, walk-in, nothing. It's been 100% relationship, and he's about 2 years in now. And, the numbers, I mean, he's continued to grow. He started out 10, 12, 15. His best month is 51, I believe, right now. And he's currently averaging 40-something in a time that we haven't had inventory. Carlos came to the business with no inventory from the beginning. So this is all he's really known. So when we get to this point in the next couple of years, when we start having inventory, I mean, I would say at this point, maybe 20 or 30% of his potential for where he's at 48, averaging 48 right now. So it's pretty remarkable when you talk about, we have the blueprint. We've had trial and error. We understand what it took me 20 years to get to. And we bundled it down and said, you can get there in 4 or 5 if you follow the right procedure, if you're engaged and you follow this relationship type selling. And we're like, okay, let's just do it. Let's walk the walk. And we bring Carlos on, and all of a sudden he's doing 50. I mean, I don't know what more we can say to people to kind of get everybody to understand that this is the way to go in this business, and it's happening in every other industry. Try to get a watch from somebody these days. Try to get any type of object that you want. You have to have this go-to person, and why not make yourself that person for everyone?
I'm blown away. I really love what you have to say. And I think that it's mindset, right? Our friend, Alex Flores, and by the way, Ali is one of the founders of the Pinnacle Society with Frank Cornetti and Jonathan Dawson, another phenomenal trainer in our automotive space. I was privileged to join them several months ago. And the great thing, number one, Ali, your heart, your love for people. A lot of people say that flippantly, to make people feel good. I'm telling you, I saw it. I saw you take time with the new people in the business that just, we're ladies and gentlemen, at that Pinnacle Society. I saw people that were in the business. Mary Sweeney, let me give a shout out to a local modern day car sales celebrity. Mary is phenomenal. And she's 58 years old, I believe. Don't get mad at me, Mary, I forgot that wrong. And she's selling, 20, 30, 35 cars a month. Immediately. It's a mindset. It's Alex Flores said, they wrote it in a book a long time ago, be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And I think when if you think you can, you will. But again, the biggest hurdle are people in the car business right now. People are making more money than they ever have and getting over that hurdle, but preparing for when the rain comes. And I am just so blown away, number one, by your all's friendship, how you guys have reached out, how Ali, with everybody pulling at you and selling, a couple hundred cars a month, that you took time. We're going to have more of these. I just want to give you both the time to maybe talk about give them a few more groceries at the checkout counter that they could take home. And then I want you guys to explain if you do, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want their first, I think it's their first book, How to Sell 100 Cars, correct? And no. Keep It Simple was the first book. Keep It Simple Selling. Keep It Simple Selling was the first book. Is how to sell a car or how to sell 100 cars the second book?
Yes. How to sell 100 cars a month. Yep.
Okay. So if you want that book, they were telling me earlier that they are going to give that book to you. And I'm going to tease this. And I don't say this just because to make them feel good. Damien reached out to me a couple months ago and wanted me to proofread Ali and Damien's new book coming out. And I'm not going to let too much out, but I'm telling you right now, I've been in this car business since the year of our Lord, 1989, and I made a lot of mistakes. But I'm telling you right now, if I would have read that book decades ago, it would have changed my life. It literally is one of the best books, because as my dad's an old preacher, and he likes to say those old sayings, and I'm going to just throw it. He said, you got, Tim, when you're communicating with people, you just got to throw the feed where the chickens can get it. And let me tell you something, that book, for anybody that spent one day in the car business, it's throwing the feed where the chickens can get it. I'm telling you, I was no big words, no big fancy words for simple country folk like me. I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. And I can't wait for that one. But if you want this book, How to Sell 100 Cars, guys, will you tell them how they can get their copy for free?
Yeah, if you'll just go to howtosell100cars.com, you can go and download that book for free and share it with your team and have them do it. And just enjoy Ali's journey. And the goal isn't to get to 100 cars. I'll pre-frame that. The goal is just to get to your next level. If you're at 8, that's a perfect number, right? That's where you are. You can see 12, right? That's where your next level is, right? And so everything you do is to improve your mindset and your energy and your processes and your habits and your rituals and your intentionality and who you are to get to 12. And once you get to 12, you can go ahead and you can get to maybe 15 or 16. And if you just increase your numbers by 3 or 4 cars every month, year over year, right? If you just go 3 cars a month more, 4 cars a month more this year than you did last year, that equals a lot of money. That's maybe $10,000, $12,000 more dollars going to your bottom line. Again, like you talked about earlier, don't try to eat the whole house in the moment, right? You can go slow, you can go sure. This is a career. I recently got in the business in 1983. I'm not going anywhere. And I promise you, it gets better. Don't let your career wrap up in 30-day increments, salespeople. That's the dealer's game. Your game is, look, this is my life. I want my children to have the life of their dreams. I want them to go to the college of their choice. I want me and my spouse to have whatever life we choose to, whatever investments we choose to. And in this business, your dreams will come true. And it doesn't happen in 30 days. It happens over the period of Ali and I met in 2010. And in 2020, he's where he is now. He goes from making what he made in 2010 to making what he makes now, which is just a little bit better. And
do you get any residual of that, Damien? We could talk about that offline.
I think that's what he was getting at. I think that he was getting at that.
He loves me more today than he did when he doubted me at the beginning.
I got Uncle Sam and Uncle Damien now on me. That's
awesome.
Perfect.
Hey, Ali, any closing thoughts? And we'll
Damien's right, man. If I had walked into that seminar and said, hey, I'm going to sell 200 cars a month, or Damien told me I could get you to 100 cars a month, I would have walked out. I would have said, this is just it's not possible, right? So what was possible is me seeing 60 or me seeing 72 from 60. It was my next level. That's when things started changing. The day my life changed was the day I wrote down 60 for the first time and actually believed it. I don't know if I ever believed it before then because I didn't write it down. Those numbers happen in your heart well before they happen anywhere, right? So you have to believe it. So when I started believing in what's possible, and I started believing that, hey, I can get to that. If I did 70, I can get to 90. If I did 90, I know I can get to 100. It was one level at a time. And when I started believing, Tim, and I'm not saying that lightly, and I'm not saying that to sound corny or anything, but when I started believing, things started changing. And I never stopped believing. And I don't think 200 is the limit. I have more room. I don't think Carlos, one person, is the limit. I have more room. And that's why we came out with the book. And that's why, I just emphasize to people that, hey, it's one level at a time. When you get to that next level, you'll get to the next level and the next and the next. But it all starts with believing in what's possible. And if somebody else is doing it, like Greg Cole was doing it when Damien was talking, then now you're hearing that I did it. Now Frank Graniti is doing it. Now there's a lot of superstars out there that are doing it. It's possible. You just got to believe in yourself, and maybe just a couple of small tweaks, right? You just got to know your process. You got to be consistent, and a couple small tweaks, and anything is possible, Tim. Anything.
Yeah,
it's so
Ali,
true.
Go
ahead, Damien.
Let me get you to talk about you when he says you have to write it down. In every one of my seminars, whenever I work with a client, whenever I'm doing coaching, one of the first things I get you to do is to tell me what you want to accomplish, but then you got to write it down, because there's some magic to writing it down, right? Yep. There's just this click. So Ali has been to a lot of my seminars. He sits on the second row in the second chair every time he came to my seminar, right? One day he's in there and I say, now, what's your next level? What's your average? What's your next level as far as dream? What's your dream number? And Ali writes his dream number down. Tell him what the number was, Ali.
167.
And how many did you sell the very next month?
167, right on the dot.
Right on the dot.
Unbelievable. Damien still has that book dated before I did it, which was pretty crazy. Right. I mean, it was unbelievable that number stuck out, because I think before that it was 144. So, you know, right. to come up with that number and then actually hit it on the dot, it was kind of freaky, but you know, that's just Damien. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm humbled. You know, very seldom we start Tim Talks, and sometimes, you know, I see the numbers. And Guy, and I know Perry, I see your question. So let me just housekeeping. Perry, I see your question. Yes, this is being recorded. We will drop it in Modern Day Car Sales. It will be dropped in on LinkedIn and Facebook, so you will be able to get it to. Everybody wants Mary Sweeney to hear her shout out, and Ali shout out to her. So we'll get that, as well as if you look in the chat, we did drop in how to sell. It's you can click that link. It'll take you there right now. And just so you know the heart of Ali and Damien. They're not they didn't come on here to sell books. They're giving the book away for free. But listen, if I sit down at a dealership and I'm, you know, and if I ever have the blessing to go sit behind a desk again, one of the first people I'm calling is the old Raging Cajun, Damien Boudreaux.
Right.
To come train and love on my people. Right. Guys, listen, thank you so much. We are going to come back probably in 2 weeks with Damien. We're going to be unpacking leadership in the dealership, some missteps on management, sharing some failures that I definitely had many failures in leadership, but what's happening now, and then some things that we could change that makes major impact. I just want to let all of you know, thank you so much for tuning in today. This is recorded. We will post this. Take this, share it out, play it in a sales meeting, take parts of it, because the idea of Tim Talks, again, we started it at the beginning of COVID. We went away because of Clubhouse, and you sweet dear people blew our emails up saying, hey, where did you go? We have notebooks of notes. You know, we don't get to go to conferences. We don't get to go to these places. And you're bringing these rock stars on this podcast. So we love you today. We thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. And as we always say on Tim Talks, no one is better or smarter than everyone. So let's continue to get better together. Ali, thank you. Damien, thank you so much. And please click the link, get your free book, and we're going to see you in 2 weeks. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all. Thanks.